I were starting over, with nothing in my hands, no savings, no plan, just a quiet knowing that life could still be extraordinary, I would not begin by chasing. I would not begin by worrying. I would not begin by asking anyone for permission. I would begin with words. Because when you have nothing, your words are your wealth. Your voice is the seed. Your language is the key that unlocks the gate. And so I would stand in the smallest room, in the darkest night, with my own reflection looking back at me, and I would speak. I would speak these words until they were carved into my bones. I am already wealthy. I am already chosen. The universe rearranges itself for me. Not once, not twice, but until the sound of my own voice began to feel like truth. Because here's the secret. You cannot rise higher than the story you keep telling yourself. If your story is fear, you'll live inside fear. If your story is doubt, you'll build your home in delay. But if your story is wealth, worthiness, and divine alignment, the story will create itself in gold around you. I would wake up and repeat it. I would breathe it before breakfast. I would whisper it while walking. I would declare it before sleep. And the world, quietly, invisibly, would start moving in my favor. Because words are not just sounds. They are spiritual commands. And if you're hearing me right now, and something in you says, yes, I am ready to command my life, then this is your moment to step into it. If you haven't already, subscribe now. Not just because it helps the channel, but because each message here is a seed. And the more seeds you let in, the faster your garden will bloom. We are building a field of wealth together. And you are already a part of it. If I were starting over, I would understand something most people never see until it's too late. Money doesn't come because you work harder. Money comes because you work aligned. You can spend your whole life trying to push open a door that was never meant for you. Or you can speak to the one door that's yours and watch it swing wide at the sound of your voice. I would say to myself, over and over, what belongs to me cannot pass me by. And what is mine by divine right appears now. These are not just affirmations. These are activation codes. They tell the universe exactly what to deliver, and they tell your mind exactly what to prepare for. Because here's the truth. Your mind is the stage crew of your life. It hews your script and rushes to set the scene. If you speak poverty, it will dim the lights, strip the set, and hand you bills. If you speak wealth, it will roll out velvet carpets, light the stage, and place gold in your path. I would write these words where my eyes must see them, on the bathroom mirror, on the lock screen of my phone, on scraps of paper in my pockets. Because starting over doesn't mean starting small. It means starting intentional. Most people think they need more time. What they really need is more instruction. Stop begging the universe. Stop hoping someone will notice you. Start instructing your world. And if you've been following me for a while, you already know, I don't speak empty motivation. I speak what I've lived. And I want you to live it too. So pause for a moment and tell me in the comments right now the one instruction you're ready to give your life today. Write it as if it's already happening, because the moment you declare it, you start to live inside it. If I were starting over, I would not wait for the perfect conditions. I would not wait for the loan approval. I would not wait for someone to pick me. I would decide that I am already picked, already approved, already resourced. Because the mind waits for proof, but the spirit moves on instruction. I would rise in the morning and say, every resource I need is already on its way. Every door I need is already open. Every opportunity is finding me now. And I would speak it until my energy shifted. Because you can't just speak the words, you have to feel them. You have to let them melt into your bones until they're not a wish, they're a fact. The shift happens when your inner world becomes wealthier than your outer one. Because the outer will always follow the inner. Always. I remember a time I had more unpaid bills than dollars in my account. And I decided that day that I would stop speaking debt and start speaking destiny. The moment I changed my language, the moment I commanded my life instead of pleading with it, things began to change. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a random break. It was the law of alignment at work. And if you're listening to this now, it means you're in the exact place to turn it on for yourself. So here's what I'd do, starting over. I'd create a sacred space for my words. No distractions, no noise, just me and the sound of my voice, telling the universe exactly how to arrange my life. Because the world doesn't answer to hesitation. It answers to clarity. And before we go further, if this is resonating with you, and you know you want more of these wealth activations in your life, hit that subscribe button now. Because the people who stay in this energy stay in the flow. If I were starting over, I would not wait for the perfect conditions. I would not wait for the loan approval. I would not wait for someone to pick me. I would decide that I am already picked, already approved, already resourced. Because the mind waits for proof, but the spirit moves on instruction. I would rise in the morning and say, every resource I need is already on its way. Every door I need is already open. Every opportunity is finding me now. And I would speak it until my energy shifted. Because you can't just speak the words, you have to feel them. You have to let them melt into your bones until they're not a wish, they're a fact. The shift happens when your inner world becomes wealthier than your outer one. Because the outer will always follow the inner. Always. I remember a time I had more unpaid bills than dollars in my account. And I decided that day that I would stop speaking debt and start speaking destiny. The moment I changed my language, the moment I commanded my life instead of pleading with it, things began to change. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a random break. It was the law of alignment at work. And if you're listening to this now, it means you're in the exact place to turn it on for yourself. So here's what I'd do, starting over. I'd create a sacred space for my words. No distractions, no noise. Just me and the sound of my voice, telling the universe exactly how to arrange my life. Because the world doesn't answer to hesitation. It answers to clarity. And before we go further, if this is resonating with you, and you know you want more of these wealth activations in your life, hit that subscribe button now. Because the people who stay in this energy stay in the flow. if I were starting over, I would stop looking for signs of wealth in other people's lives and start becoming the sign in my own. I would stop comparing my chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, because comparison is the fastest way to choke your own growth. I would say out loud every single day, I am the proof. I am the example. I am the one my future self was waiting for. Because when you start to see yourself as the proof, you begin to behave differently. You walk differently. You make decisions with a confidence that others can't quite name. But they feel it. Wealth doesn't find the loudest voice. It finds the clearest one. When you are clear about who you are and what you are here to create, money stops being a stranger. It starts being a trusted companion. I'd remember that my words are seeds, and every day I'm either planting weeds or planting wealth. That means watching my conversations, cutting off the self-deprecating jokes, refusing to say things like I'm broke, even if my bank balance tries to argue. Because words are not just descriptions, they are blueprints. And if I were starting over, I'd give myself the richest blueprint I could imagine. I'd design it with language soaked in abundance, and I'd keep building, even when it felt slow, because slow wealth still arrives. And once it's built on the right foundation, it stays. And if you're still with me right now, I know you're not here by accident. You're here because your spirit is tired of delay. You're here because your future self has been whispering for you to step into alignment. So don't just listen. Start speaking. Right now. Write in the comments, my wealth is already here, and I am ready. Say it like you mean it. Say it until your voice changes. Because the moment you believe it, it's already on its way. If I were starting over, I would treat every dollar I have as if it's a soldier in my army. I wouldn't curse my money. I wouldn't complain about how small it looks. I'd bless it. I'd thank it for its service. I'd send it out with orders to bring reinforcements. Because money responds to the tone you use with it. Speak to it like a loyal friend, and it will be loyal back. I would say each morning, as I looked at my bank balance, I see you growing. I see you multiplying. I see you returning to me in greater and greater measure. And I wouldn't just say it when the numbers were high. I'd say it especially when they were low. Because that's when the seed needs the most water. I would stop letting my bank account dictate my mood and start letting my mood dictate my bank account. And here's what I know now. There is a moment where all the speaking, all the affirming, all the commanding finally tips the scale. You go from waiting for the breakthrough to realizing you are the breakthrough. I've seen it in my life. I've seen it in the lives of those who refuse to back down from their vision. And I know, without a single doubt, that if you stay in this energy long enough, your results will have no choice but to match. If I were starting over, I'd remember that wealth isn't about chasing. It's about commanding. It's about knowing that your words are contracts, and the universe is bound to honor them when they're spoken in full faith. And right now, if you're still listening, you've already started writing a new contract with your life. If I were starting over, I would decide, once and for all, that my wealth is not in the future. It's here, now. I would stop saying, one day, and start saying, this is the day. Because the day you choose to act as if it's already done is the day everything begins to rearrange in your favor. I would carry myself like someone who already has the keys. I'd open doors with confidence. I'd take opportunities without hesitation. I'd speak to every person I meet as if they could be part of my blessing, because they might be. I would remind myself that there's no starting over. There's only starting from a higher level of wisdom, and that changes everything. I would know, deep in my bones, that I am not chasing money. I am aligning with it. And alignment means agreement. Agreement in thought, agreement in speech, agreement in action. I would say this every night before I closed my eyes. Everything I need to be wealthy is already inside me. Everything I need is already finding me, and nothing can stop what has already been written with my name on it. And I'd wake up the next morning, ready to act like it's true, ready to call it in, ready to live it. If you're still here, this is your sign. Don't let this message fade. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss the words that are aligning you with your millionaire future. And tell me in the comments, I am already the millionaire I was meant to be. Say it until you believe it. Believe it until you see it. And see it until you can't remember a time when it wasn't your reality. Because if I were starting over, I'd repeat that truth every single day, and I'd watch my life transform right in front of me.